Welcome to MojoPlays. Johnny here, bringing you 10 of the creepiest things in The Legend of Zelda. Zelda doesn't get spooky often, but there are definitely aspects of some entries that have genuinely disturbed players. So for this list, we'll be looking at some of our favorite bone-chilling moments in the series. What's your favorite creepy thing in Zelda? Head to those comments and let us know.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
The Moon, The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. I mean, look at this thing. It constantly has blood-red eyes and a giant grimace spread across its face, a face which it shouldn't even have. And while Majora's Mask gets points for taking something so tranquil and turning it into a nightmare, the moon's face isn't its only creepy aspect. With unbelievable power, the Skull Kid will crash the moon into Clocktown in just 3 days, and it grows a little closer every day. So, when you reach Clocktown's final hours, you can look up to see the horrifying moon bearing down on you and staring straight into your soul. The Diabolical Cubus Sisters, The Legend of Zelda, Phantom Hourglass. When trying to give your players the creeps, you can't go wrong with evil little children. While navigating the ghost ship, Link will find 4 young girls in need of rescuing. They come off as friendly damsels, even cowering every time they see a monster. But they'll also say odd and disturbing things, or just give Link bad advice. Something is definitely wrong with the sisters, and that something will reveal itself once you reunite them. They're actually the dungeon's final boss, turning from wholesome children into deadly specters. The fight itself isn't that hard, but their alarming faces look like they've been taking lessons from Majora's Moon. Come on, Link, never trust anyone you find aboard a literal ghost ship. Cursed Bokoblins, The Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword. Bokoblins are some of the most common and therefore non-threatening enemies found across the series, but turn anything into a zombie and it's bound to be a bit scary. The Cursed Bokoblins are first seen in the Ancient Cistern. The dungeon's lowest floor contrasts with its otherwise gold and pristine image, primarily because it's filled with these hideous creatures. Cursed Bokoblins can take a lot more damage than regular ones, and the first time we saw the shambling corpses get back up and continue lumbering forward definitely spooked us. The worst bit came when we had to climb out of the lower floor only to have the zombified enemies climb after us, trying to force us back down to their home. The Elegy of Emptiness, The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. The Zelda series has used some fairly chilling music over the years, but the Elegy of Emptiness is definitely the most unsettling. The song makes a statue of whichever the 4 forms Link is in. It's used to great effect in solving puzzles, but it's also used in great effect in scaring the hell out of us. The Goron and Zora statues stare with white, wide eyes and feature markings of the deceased characters you earned them from, such as Mikhail's tattoos and Darmani's massive scar. But by far the worst is that of human Link, with his never-ending smile so unnervingly ingrained in Zelda fans that it led to one of the internet's best creepypastas. Redeads. Various. The Legend of Zelda has plenty of creepy-crawly, nasty beasties to face, but few enemies can command the same fear as Redeads. Discovering them in Kakariko Village's graveyard in Ocarina of Time for the first time as a kid was absolutely petrifying. And in Link's case, he was literally petrified. The slow-moving Redeads would be easy to deal with if not for their blood-curdling shriek that stops Link in his tracks. They've only appeared in a couple of games, though our personal choice for the worst was in The Wind Waker. Ugh. Regardless of how you first experienced them, not being able to move as they hobble over to chew on you is truly disturbing. Pamela's father, The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. Although he never gets named, Pamela's father is one of the saddest characters in a game full of sad characters. After moving his daughter to the haunted Ikana Canyon, the scientist is cursed to transform into a Gibdo, the game's mummy-like enemies. Once Link sneaks inside their house, he finds Pamela's father mid-transformation. Getting too close or drawing your sword causes Pamela to come to her father's aid, who shrinks away from his daughter, clutching his head and groaning in pain. The Song of Healing can cleanse him of the curse, leaving behind the Gibdo mask, but he'll have no memory of his affliction. We don't know what we expected to find in the strange music box house, but it wasn't this. Death Sword, The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess's Arbiter's Grounds were once used as a prison for Hyrule's most notorious criminals, and it features a ton of creepy enemies. But the one that scared us the most was its mini-boss, Death Sword. The arena alone gave us pause, as the only thing you see at first is a big sword embedded in the center. Cutting its Ofuda-draped ropes frees the evil invisible spirit attached, beginning the battle. Death Sword's demonic Reaper appearance is certainly alarming, but he gets extra points for the fight's setup. Ofuda are used by those who practice the Shinto religion, and are said to protect against danger or misfortune. Given how many Ofuda are attached to his weapon, Death Sword must have done some pretty despicable things. The Deku Butler's Son, The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. When it comes to Majora's Mask, creepy and sorrowful usually go hand in hand. At the beginning of the game, Link is transformed into a Deku, and Tattle points to a decrepit tree as an example of his appearance. After beating the first dungeon, Link can complete a challenge with the Deku King's Butler, who will tell Link he reminds him of his son who left home long ago. You can already see where this is going. During the credits, we see the Deku Butler doubled over, mourning in front of the tree. Not only is this tree the corpse of his son, but he likely met his end at the hands of the Skull Kid, who then shoved the Deku's soul into Link. That's just brutal. The Story of the Interlopers, The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess. Many Zelda games bring new lore to the series, but only one succinctly sums up its lore through one of the most horrifying cutscenes imaginable. After beating the game's third dungeon, Lanayru will show Link the story of the Interlopers. Long ago, these Hylians wielded dark magic in pursuit of the Sacred Realm, and were banished by the Light Spirits. We would have been happy to simply be told this, but Lanayru gives Link a nightmarish vision instead. Everything about this cutscene gives us chills, from the cold white eyes to Link's violent scream to copies of Ilia eerily laughing, which never fails to echo in our heads long after the scene ends. Kakariko Village, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. This place is straight up haunted. So haunted, in fact, that we combined everything in the town into one entry. Here, players can find the House of Skulltula, home to a family of cursed, mutated spider people. But that's honestly nothing. The bottom of the well has been frightening players for 2 decades. Hidden traps, walls, and torture chambers with fresh blood make it pretty disturbing, though it's the supremely unnerving dead hand that really gets your heart racing. The mini-dungeon has a few aesthetic things in common with the Shadow Temple. Found above the graveyard, a creepy place in its own right, it was once used by the Sheikah to interrogate enemies of the Hyrule royal family. And it's basically one giant cursed catacomb. Why do you people live here?
Do you agree with our picks? Don't forget to stick around and check out our other videos on MojoPlays.